To those who don't share your goals, you may look like a villain. Welcome back. I'm Iron Hans. I've been on Red Pill Hard Mode for almost 20 years, and I am unapologetically here to help men. Now, what happened to Charlie Kirk made me have a lot of self-reflection, and I've thought a lot about it, and I've decided I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not leaving.
Now, in today's episode, we're talking about one of the best representations of masculinity that I have ever witnessed, and it comes from anime. That's right, I said it, anime. Now, before you crash out about
anime's for gooners,
we'll pump the brakes a little bit. We're not talking about fan service, or Truck-con or Karchon taking you away to some far-off land where you can chase Elven Poon. Yes, there's a lot of gooner slop, and a lot of just straight-up weird anime. And if you're new to anime and your bro tells you to watch it, you might accidentally click on this one. That's a no for me, dog. But that's the beautiful thing about anime. It's not overtaken by DEI. You see, in anime, there's actual diversity in expression. Side note, have you ever noticed how DEI is not very diverse? It's all black and gay.
put a chick in it, make her gay.
Yes, anime does have a lot of representation for the lover archetype, but it's also got some absolute bangers for masculine archetypes. Naofumi from Shield Hero.
Banger!
Subaru Natsuki from ReZero.
Banger!
Azawa from My Hero Academia.
Banger!
Thanks, Ice Cream Sandwich. And you, if you have some recommendations for great masculine archetypes in anime, comment it below. Like and subscribe. Let's get those numbers up.
I'm trying to do something.
But the best I've ever seen, the GOAT, the absolute freaking legend, Askeladd from Vinland Saga. I love this character even more than Iroh. Even more than Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Okay, I gotta walk that one back.
Actually, he gave up Elven Poon to save the world.
But Askeladd was a far more gritty and realistic hero. Most would call him the villain. But was he just a greedy, manipulative, bloodthirsty Viking? And why the hell would Iron Hans glaze this villain? Well, let's break it down. Now, if you haven't seen Vinland Saga and you don't have like 80 hours to sit down and watch it, that's what I'm here for. But I'm gonna spoil the hell out of it. The manga was written by Makoto Yakamura. Nailed it! First time.
First try.
A Japanese artist inspired by the real-life explorer Thorfinn Karlsefni. Now, why was that one so easy? He manages to tell the story of the villain in a way that's archetypically perfectly integrated. I mean, chef's kiss. Mwah. Most heroes are white knights. They feel unreal because we know deep down inside they're full of shit. They act all hoity-toity and then hide their diabolical schemes behind morality. Kind of like these modern-day boomers who want immigrants for cheap labor.
If you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
And then they just grandstand about how Gen Z is so lazy. I'll take shots at whoever deserves it, I don't care. From the outside, you see Askeladd as a calculating mercenary, the betrayer, a man with no honor, motivated by greed and power. The man who killed a young boy's father for money, and then spent years tormenting him, holding vengeance over his head for motivation, taking advantage of his moral code and sense of honor. And this moment right here is exactly how Askeladd killed his own father. But he knows that Thorfinn can't do it. And Vinland Saga catches this feeling perfectly. Season 2, Thorfinn feels it. Askeladd's father felt. And at some point, every man feels this burden from the world, plowing and plowing. You can just give up. And in this moment, Askeladd and Thorfinn are both just like, screw it. If he kills me, at least I'll get a good nap. But what if I told you that this entire arc, the entire foundation of Thorfinn's character, was built on an elaborate, brutal, yet necessary act of heroism? Askeladd was not a villain. He was a hero in disguise. And his final moment was the most epic, selfless, noble, glorious act in all of anime.
Will be either Wales or Canute. The choice is yours. In truth, I honestly don't care about Wales one way or the other. Present me with Canute's head and join me. I should mention I've looked into your background. And sure enough, I found out your mother was a slave. After all, the only thing Wales is good for is slaves.
I don't like your face. And I'm not gonna let such a beautiful crown sit on such a syphilis face.
Did he just say that to the king?
What did you just say to me?
Really, dumbass? Is your hearing gone now, too? I said such an ugly bastard has no right to wear that crown. Your face is not the face of a true king. Stand back! King Syphilis is in my reach.
Oh. Now, Askeladd, put away your blade.
That's a stupid nickname. I've hidden my identity. Let me tell you who I really am. I am Lucius Artorius Castus. And I am the only person on this island of Britannia who has the right to be king.
No, man! Go take him down!
Well, that felt cathartic. I am Artorius! Yeah! Woo! Let's go! I gotta go live something right now. This scene had me so fired up, I can't even explain it to you. Yet throughout his whole story, your knee-jerk reaction is to hate this man's guts. But long after each episode was over, I caught myself lying awake at night, thinking, what would I have done if I was in his shoes? And I gotta say, every sin and every instance of depravity that he committed was completely justified. And from each episode I started watching, I started to actually root for this guy. Even in the most reprehensible moment, where Askeladd deletes an entire village, he was always just constantly weighing out the heavier matters. In the great calculus of lives lost, he was always trying to save his people from the brutality of the Danes. And this is not the age-old trolley dilemma. You know the one, where on this side you have one person, and on that side you have 10. And the train's bailing down the tracks, you got no brakes. Do you flip the switch to kill the 10 or the 1? This isn't that dilemma, because Askeladd has spent time with the Danes. He knows the depravity. He knows what they're capable of. So he hits it to hit the 10 with glee in his heart. He had to sacrifice the people that he wanted to protect in order to protect the whole nation. If he didn't kill those villagers, then all of Wales would be wasted. The amount of testicular fortitude that would take, I can't even comprehend it. And to understand his motives, you have to understand his true allegiance, his purpose, his Vinland. He wasn't just a Viking warlord looking for plunder. He was a Welsh prince protecting his homeland. Well, we don't know that for sure. His mom was pretty crazy. You see, he was born from a warlord who raided his village. He killed his mother's husband and then sired Askeladd. His mother would tell him stories of the great Lucius Artorius Castus, the great King Arthur who would one day free their people and bring peace. His men thought they were following a man obsessed with power and conquest, but they didn't know they were following a spy. Askeladd knew that every man was a slave. Thorkel was a slave to gluttony and of competition. It was never enough for Thorkel. Thorfinn was a slave to vengeance and his own hate. The Danes were slaves to earthly pleasure, brutality, and honor through violence. All of them were stagnated and were easily manipulated through their vices. And Askeladd hated them for it. He knew they desperately needed leadership. Askeladd the whole time was playing a long game for the people of Wales. Every move that he made, from maneuvering his band of Vikings to serving the Danish King Sweyn, was a dangerous chess move. You see, King Sweyn wasn't just a brutal tyrant. He was a strategic genius whose conquest threatened to swallow up all of Britain, including Wales. But why did he keep Thor's son alive, only to subject him to a life of violence and misery? Because Askeladd knew the path Thor's envisioned for his son, the path of peace, was impossible in their world. And that's why I love this story. To the person who's not integrated, the world is idealistic. They see the world through a projection that they make, rather than the world for what it is. They create the world as it should be. You hear this all the time. But the world doesn't operate in shoulds, so stop shoulding all over everybody.
Well, you should do this and you should do that, and women should have equal rights and men should have equal lefts, and men shouldn't have to sign up for the draft. We shouldn't even have countries. We should all have free healthcare. The should.
You put all these people on an island, nothing gets done, they all starve. Even Thorfinn himself in Season 2 realizes that he has to use violence to protect Gardur, Arnhein's husband. And if you want to have a heated debate, watch Season 2 with your wife. Arnhein's story is diabolical. I'm definitely on Team Gardur. I understand the war bride dynamic, and perhaps he would have been much better off just riding off into the sunset. But how could he have known that she was carrying that child? But by killing Thorfinn's father, Askeladd set Thorfinn on a quest for vengeance that kept him alive. Kinda like the Fire Father in Avatar. He sent Zuko away so that he could be hardened under the direction of his top general, Iroh, the legend. Yet Askeladd kept him strong and kept him close. He was forging Thorfinn into a weapon and a survivor. He exposed Thorfinn to the brutal realities of war so that when the time came, Thorfinn would know exactly what he did not want to be. And I love how the story catches this naive feeling from the youth about how wonderful war is.
Wouldn't it be fun? Yay, war!
Like this dummy.
In this day and age, I don't know. That gets tricky. I wouldn't trust Donald Trump too.
Are they going to send California agents to arrest the President of the United States, do you think?
We could send the National Guard and start a civil war. Our National Guard, the California National Guard. But that would be treason.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
She has such a pampered life, she has no idea what she's even calling for. These women are so quick to just throw young men's lives away. Just because Orange Man bad.
And my rights! My abortion!
Askeladd's brutality was mentorship. A perfect representation of the father wound. He basically became a surrogate father. The moment that Thorfinn snuck on that boat, I knew, oh no, here we go, this ain't gonna be good. Askeladd created the conditions necessary for Thorfinn to eventually find his own way. And Askeladd shows us what true masculinity requires. This is what he taught Thorfinn. What he teaches us about the burden and the blessing of being a man. True strength is leveraged by superior strategy. Are you using your energy efficiently? Are you effective? Or are you wasting it on trivial conflicts? A man without a transcendent purpose is a man who defaults to the easy path. Askeladd's purpose was his shield against the emptiness of his life. He sacrificed himself not just so that Prince Canute could rise to power, but also to free Thorfinn from his rage, redirecting Thorfinn's purpose. He was a man who died on his own terms. Askeladd was not a good man, but he was a man of immense desire for a legacy of a free Wales. And that desire gave him destructive purpose. His story didn't teach us to be more ruthless. It teaches us to reach for purpose, emotional control. All the strength and competence in the world is just fuel for brutality and a meaningless existence without a true purpose. Men struggle with this all the time. So what do you want? What is your Vinland? And until next time.
I feel secure in my relationship.
You are made of steel.